Okay, I did want to mention basically an internal process that we have, which is our annual tax due diligence process. So this is the process that we go through, something we've been putting in place, kind of testing out. We haven't really rolled this out as like a product, but it's certainly a service offering that we want to roll out to our majority of our clients. And it's really around, what do we do to help our clients from a due diligence process? The reality is most people sign their e-file form without reviewing their taxes. That's just the reality. And because a couple things, they probably don't know exactly how to review the tax return properly because there's a lot of data in there. And they assume that if they fill out their tax organizer, provide all their forms, that everything's going to be done right. The reality is we know that there's stuff that's omitted. There are notes that might not be well explained when you're working with a tax professional. And we see it on both sides, things that get omitted from the client where they forget to give forms, forget to share data, and then just some simple mistakes, right? Just, we're all human beings. That happens. That's not a big deal. But the one thing that we looked at is, okay, well, if we're in a position where we know our clients' financial goals, what can we do to help? What can we do to say, all right, that's why we're calling it due diligence. Is like, we can't, we're not auditing this. We're just going through and at a very high level, making sure that the things we know that the tax opportunities that clients have, the tax deductions, we want to go through at a high level and make sure the tax returns look as clean and accurate as possible. So we built out this tax due diligence process. We actually had an advisor on our team, Niall Shaffrey, go back and actually review all of our 2021 tax returns that we had. So this is just some of the data that we pulled together. This is under the headline of why we review your tax return. So we received, of our clients at the time, we requested 226 returns. We got 203. So we didn't get all of them, but almost 90%, pretty high number. Tax returns with errors or mistakes, 40 out of the 203, which is around 20%. Non-business owner clients, so if pretty more simple returns, 14% had errors. And then of our business owner clients, out of the 70 we reviewed, 21, so about 30%. We estimated overstated income about $516,000. And so I don't know the exact refund amount, but in north of 150,000, probably closer to 200. So pretty substantial. So this is something that then we looked at as, okay, well, if this is an issue, we want to find a way to do this on a repeatable basis year over year. So a couple things that we look at is obviously from a team perspective, like how do we do this on a go-forward basis? And so part of our process, we're going to be creating this tax letter that's going to provide a summary for our clients and their tax professional. And to be frank, I mean, we have I guess different tiering of clients, and so we're going to try to do this across all of our clients, but we have to make sure that it's cost effective because this does take a lot of time. So trying to build out tierings of saying who can we absolutely do this for, and then some of our clients, it might be an extra cost if they want us to do this, because it just takes a lot of our staff time and resources to get this done effectively. So just as a couple reminders on here, so this will be something that we'll be putting in place for 2023, which we're in. So this will be work that we start doing next year in 2024, and we're still going to be doing our due diligence process, but some of this more extensive ways of how we're helping. And so a couple quick things. We feel that a best practice is request an extension. Oftentimes during tax season, the tax preparer is so busy that if you try to file on time, we're not going to be able to do the thorough analysis, meaning your tax preparer getting all the data done, getting us a draft tax return. So requesting an extension, we think it's going to be a big part of being able to do effective due diligence. We want to get a copy of it. So send us a draft tax return. And the reason why we want to get a draft tax return, we want to have at least 30 days before the deadline, because if we get the final tax return and there are errors, then you might need to amend your tax return. And we know that's just an annoyance. It's a time waster. I don't know if it's an increase in audit, but at the end of the day, let's get a draft, let's review it, let's sign off and say, okay, we've checked everything, and then you can go ahead and file it. So, and again, it comes back to this idea that most clients don't review their tax returns because they're not trained to do it. They don't want to do it. And that's why you hire a tax professional. And so we are looking at what we're doing as a value add to clients. We're not replacing your accountant. Your accountant has a difficult job because they're trying to gather all this data. and we understand your tax planning opportunities. We understand tax forms that we, from your investments. And so we just felt like we're the logical place to help. And so that's why we started putting this together. So essentially, this is what we do. We conduct a review of the tax return. We go through a process. We upload the return to a tax planning software. We confirm the data on the tax forms matches the return. We review W-2s, 1099s, all of this data. And then we also put it through a second layer of screening is, okay, does the tax return look good? Additionally, are there tax planning opportunities that maybe the client didn't utilize? Now, at the point of doing this, it's pretty much too late to do it for last year. But by doing this, then we can plan properly for this year. So we have, whenever we're onboarding a new client, we have about a 40-point checklist for personal tax planning that we go through. It's about 35 for business owners. And then on an annual review, there's about 15 key ones that we check for personal and about 12 for business. And so it's something we're building out. And it's just been taking time based on us doing this for over 20 years, being, Vance Wealth being, over 20 years old. And I think us doing more of this work over the last several is trying to find something that can be repeatable, and that's something that clients can rely on from us.